paid too much.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo.
Look up on the wall. There on the wall.
Let the playoffs begin. Oh, yeah, they're underway. Half the field is already out here on TPC Southwind. So good to have you with us. Busy show today. Down goes the old press box and a lot of memories. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the program with our friend, a guy I shared many a game with, Jarvis Greer. Pete Pranica will join us here in a little bit. We'll talk Olympics. And by the way, the Grizzlies training camp, because of the rigging and sound apparatus that they are upgrading at FedEx Forum, the camp, not preseason games, but the camp is moving to Nashville. And Pete, dedicated to this program, is out at the Pro-Am. You know, there's another Pro-Am yesterday here. They got a celebrity Pro-Am for St. Jude. It is out at Spring Creek Ranch. And Pete's out there. He's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. And then, of course, as we always do, we'll talk a little bit, take a walk down memory lane of the FESJC with a guy who covered it for many years now. Of course, our SEC historian down in Baton Rouge will be joined by Ron Higgins. So Pranica, Higgins, and Jarvo, that is the lineup for today. Ben Griffin going crazy. 4 straight birdies. 8, 9, 10, and 11. 10 and 11. Those are not easy holes. He's 5 under through 12. Tom Kim, Tom Fleetwood, Chris Kirk, 3 under. Cam Young, Tom Pendrith, 2 under. Justin Rose, Will Zalatoris, who plays this course well. He's 1 under. Michael Hughes, Akshay Bhatia, Matthew Pavon, the Frenchman, they all are 1 under. Bhatia and Pavon playing together have only played 3 holes. And again, only half the field is on the course. Rory McIlroy is with Colin Morikawa. They both parred hole number 1. Couple already over par. Knapp, Brian Harmon, the kid that was so good for a while last year. Johnny Lyons pick. Grazerman, he's 2 over through 10 today. A few that are struggling. Thomas Dietrich, 3 over along with Alex Noren, and they've played, Noren's played 8 holes, Dietrich's played 3, so a little struggle there. Don't forget there is no cut in this tournament, and that's half the field. That is where we stand. It is going to be hot out here, but it is beautiful. It really is. Sunshine, so much different than what it was a day ago. That is for certain. And I think it is going to be terrific. I want to let you know I just gave you that leaderboard. That's brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, the title sponsor for all of us being out here all week long. We are so grateful to Landers Ford. There's First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Wade Inc., which is your North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Ronnie Grisani's Town Village, Audubon Park, Banyan Tree Realtors, Wilson's Power Wash, DeSoto Hondo, Jim's Place, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council. We're going to eat lunch in their booth today. I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Kane, J.J. Greer, Melvin Gibson, and all of that crew that brings so much joy and excitement to the Memphis area. So that's all that's on tap. We'll keep you up to date with the leaderboard all hour long as we go along. There are some great stories. 901 FC. They were down 1-0 early in that game, 15 minutes. They tied it. And then in the 81st minute, there was an on goal, but it came off a deflection. It was a really good shot. I believe that was by Carriega. And then Pickering put them ahead 3-1. From the 81st minute on to, I think it was 4.5 minutes of extra time, 901 FC scored 4 goals. They beat Miami, which is maybe the worst team in the USL Championship. But they beat them 5-1. And that was their 10th win of the year. Their 10, 5 draws, 9 losses, 35 points. That is tied for third. Looking good for a home game in the playoffs. Speaking of soccer, the U.S. men's national team has a new head coach. It's Mauricio Pochettino, who left Chelsea, was the head coach there. That was by mutual consent. He's also been a coach at Tottenham and at Paris Saint-Germain. He should be in place by September 7th when the U.S. team will take on Canada. He replaces Greg Berhalter. So a lot of people happy about that. I thought it was a move that was needed. I know our expert, Matt O'Sullivan, had been calling for a change to be made at the top. We'll see what Pochettino can do. Obviously, there is Premier League experience there. There was one other head coach that the U.S. team went after. They didn't have the money for him. This guy was looking for a gig. Maybe he's the right fit. Let's hope so, because we know there is quite a bit of talent. Some other stories before we head to Spring Creek. Major League Baseball and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hit his 300th home run, said he was inspired after the White Sox, who are just so inept, intentionally walked Juan Soto. Now, why you would walk anybody, I don't care. I know how good Soto is, but why you would walk to get to Judge? Woo! And all he did was smash one for his 300th home run. The cool part about this is its history. That was in his 955th game. He gets to 300 home runs quicker than any other human ever did. Ralph Kiner is next. He did it in 1,087 games. I think when it comes to at-bats, it was like 500 at-bats quicker than even Babe Ruth. Speaking of which, Aaron Judge was also the quickest of any player to get to 300 hits. He beat out Babe Ruth in that category. Aaron Judge, in his 8th Major League season, is absolutely on a historic run here. He's certainly going to be a Hall of Famer. I mentioned down goes the press box at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Jarvis Greer has said, and I don't know if it's true, but I'll again ask him, he thinks that press box was 17 stories high. It was way too high. The windows were way too old. They didn't open half of them. Many great memories of many great moments in that stadium, including from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Bear Bryant's last game that I know I spent there. I don't know how many games I called in that press box, even used to be high school games in the preseason, the first games of the year. Lots of history, but honestly, it needed to go. The way they imploded that thing, Zach, you've been watching this whole thing. The way that thing went down yesterday, because we were all wondering, that's the most efficient thing I've ever seen from that press box, which was never efficient.
Man, I was truly impressed because, I mean, Dave, we've been coming into the studio like every single day. We're just sitting and thinking to ourselves, like, how they're going to do this.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, let's get some dynamite. Let's blow this bad boy up and, like, let's put on a show. But they got the cranes down, and they were able to pull it down safely, at least. That's the biggest part. They pull it down safely. You
were spot on. It was a terrific call on your part. And the way they did it, it was so cool how it did come down. And now it makes you get the sense that they will be ready in about, 2.5 weeks for that first kickoff.
Yeah.
The Tigers and North Alabama. We're going to head to Spring Creek in a minute where there is another Pro-Am going on. We'll let you know. Just for this week, we've moved the Family Leisure Studios here to the hub at TPC Southwind, right in the curve on the 18th hole. And We'll let you know that the summer party sale's gone, but we knew there'd be a new one. It's the biggest spa sale ever. Cold plunges, big swim spas, everything set to move. Biggest spa sale ever happening at I-40 and Wooden Road. You know, fun and family all come together at Family Leisure. Let's head to Spring Creek. They have a second Pro-Am. This is usually celebrities, including our own Pete Pranica. What's it look like out there? Who are you playing with? Thank you for being so dedicated to this show.
No problem. I'm playing with some fine folks from AutoZone, and we're at level par through 4 holes. So I've not hit a good shot yet. So hopefully there's some good ones still left in the bag.
Tell them I just saw their old boss, Bill Rhodes, is walking around here at TPC Southwind, and he had a big smile on his face. He's semi-retired now and enjoying life, but still he loves golf. And I'm a little surprised he's here and not there, but I know that is a great fundraiser for St. Jude, and I know you have this incredible, beautiful connection with St. Jude.
Yeah, I told a story earlier today to some of the media that one of the first things I did when I came to Memphis back in 2004 was a tour of St. Jude. Tom Penn, who was the assistant general manager at the time, on the board of ALSAC St. Jude. You know, if you want to be involved in the Memphis community, and that was one of my commitments when I joined the team, is I want to be part of this Memphis community, even though I'm not a native. And a huge part of that is St. Jude. And last night at the St. Jude Jam, Rick Shadyac said they raised a record $1.2 million over at the Peabody Hotel. And
wow,
our commitment is we wear the St. Jude pin every game. We try to make it as visible as possible. I've donated blood, I've donated platelets, and anything that I can do to support St. Jude, because the work that they do is just amazing. And one of the benefits of being here at the Danny Thomas Celeb Am is we get to meet some of the patients and get to chat with them and chat with their parents and get their stories. And it's all great stuff.
And I think, I don't know if it's the 12th or the 13th year, they will have pin caddies. There will be 6 young kids that have been troubled by cancer and that are really trying to beat cancer, and most of them are on the way to recovery, that come out here in the last 6 groups. They will actually tend the pin for them, so I look forward to that. It's always moving every Sunday. And I know with the airplane, and I think it's with the same story with the pin caddies over more than a decade. Every one of those kids who've participated with the plane or the pin caddies have survived their disease. It's just so miraculous.
Well, the reason they survive their disease and they go on to lead productive lives is because people like you and me and millions of people around the country chip in whatever they can to benefit St. Jude. I think I remember years ago talking with Rick Shadyac, and I think he said the average donation to St. Jude is less than $50 a year. But people give what they can, and obviously there have been tremendous corporate partners like Domino's and Kay Jewelers and Chili's, but it's the ground level work of people like you and me that we do what we can, even though neither you nor I have millions to donate, but we do what we can for St. Jude because it's an amazing cause. And I don't have kids, and so I try to do stuff that will benefit children because I don't have any. So that's kind of where my philanthropy lies.
Well, it is a beautiful thing, and I've seen you do this now for several years, and I admire it. All right, let me swing to who have you got there? Who are I heard like some reality TV stars are there. Who else is at this Pro-Am?
Well, I don't follow the reality TV world very well, so I'm going to take a pass on that. I know some of the celebrities have canceled, which is why I got moved up into a celebrity spot. But Lionel Hollins is here, Ron Rivera is here, Penny Hardaway is here, Brevin Knight is here, Luke Kennard is here. So there's a fair amount of basketball star power here. So
since you mentioned Penny, he played with Colin Morikawa yesterday, and in the press conference afterwards, Morikawa was going, you see these guys and they say 2 handicap, and you go, come on, really? And he goes, Penny can play. And I've seen Penny hit a drive. Actually, I saw him on 15 at Southwind drive the green.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw Penny this morning, and we talked about it, and he said, man, I played great with Kyle Morikawa. I think Penny made 4 birdies. So
Yeah.
it's like, you're making 4 birdies on that course, and I just played Southwind before they closed it for the tournament, and, I mean, it's in tournament conditions, and 4 birdies, that's tremendous for anybody. Penny's certainly an outstanding golfer.
Some news yesterday, Grizz-wise, they're updating the rigging and I guess the sound at FedEx Forum. And so training camp, not the preseason games, but training camps moving to Nashville. That's interesting. I guess it's the second time they've done it in Nashville.
It's the second time in Nashville, and we were talking about this. Second time in Nashville. First time, I think it was on the Vanderbilt campus with Dave Yeager. 1 year it was in Birmingham. When Gene Bartow was with us, he had us over at the Birmingham to do it. And then a couple of years, the Grizzlies were in California, once in Santa Barbara and once in San Diego, and that was the influence. Of course, Robert Parra went to the University of San Diego, so that was part of it there. But this is more of a logistically required type situation.
And we should point out, all the games are still going to be at FedEx Forum. Do you have any inkling what they're doing with the sound and the rig? And I'm imagining this is more for concerts than it will be for ball games.
I don't know the exact reason or rationale, but I mean, let's face it, the building is 20 plus years old, and in order to attract the very best concerts, you want to have the very best setup so that bands are going to go like, yeah, we want to play this building because it is great acoustically and because it's got everything that we need. So they're doing a lot of good stuff to the building, and looking forward to that being completed, and looking forward to Media Day on September the 30th.
Me too. All right, last thing, and that has to do with that Olympic team, those Olympic moments. You've watched a lot of basketball. You've watched NBA playoffs. I'm not sure. Under pressure, when there was need, I have never witnessed a more clutch skill exhibition than Steph Curry's in those 4 threes in the gold medal game in France against the French. The way that unfolded, that's just amazing what he did.
It really is one for the history books, one for the memory books. I was sitting there on my outdoor patio watching, and I yelled out to nobody in particular because it was just amazing, and shots that I guess if you watch the NBA on a regular basis, you're kind of used to seeing him make those shots, but to do that with an Olympic gold medal on the line, and you're playing France in Paris, I mean. You just, if a Hollywood scriptwriter does that, you're telling him he's crazy. So, yeah, it was amazing, and one of those things. I think the Paris Olympics, I think they did a wonderful job with it, and after the COVID Olympics of 2021, where fans weren't allowed in Tokyo, by and large, I think it's a real good comeback story for the Olympics as a whole, which is pretty cool. But yeah, what Steph Curry did was as Don Poyer would have said, unflipping believable.
Well, the truth is, your observation, I think, is spot on. Mike Tirico, I heard say before the games that the Olympics needed to make a comeback because Tokyo, no one was there. The Winter Games were in China, so you had Asia and, not much participation. They needed something big to become relevant again. The ratings were double. It really was a great story. And honestly, last thing, I know you got to go help your team, but and we mentioned this before, but it bears mentioning again because he was the MVP of the Olympics. A 39-year-old guy, in my mind, is still as good as he was when he was 29. How do you explain how LeBron keeps doing this?
I think the easiest thing to say is that he's a freak of nature. And stand by for a few seconds here as I try this eagle putt. And a little too much break. Did not convert the eagle opportunity.
Are you still going to get the birdie? Are you guys going to get a birdie here?
Yeah, we'll get a birdie out of this without a doubt.
All right.
But what LeBron does, a freak of nature, I know, is an overused term, but I can't think of anything else. I mean, he really is. He is 1 in 8 billion, athletically and physically.
No doubt. All right, my friend, go get that birdie. Do well. Enjoy while you're out there. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. That's Pete Pranica live from the St. Jude Celebrity Program, which is taking place a little bit of ways from here at the beautiful Spring Creek Ranch. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll go down to Baton Rouge. Ron Higgins will join us. We'll talk about his coverage of this tournament and the SEC and expectations, that poll that Georgia's number 1. All that comes your way as we come to you live from the FESJC.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right. Over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20-plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to give back to communities across the state. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. They're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers and tournament participants as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield helps communities, please visit bcpst.com.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Listen up, I've got Marty McNate on the line at Gossett Volkswagen, Germantown. Marty, you might be too busy moving back prices over there. What's up?
I'm going way back, Randy. Doc's orders. I've got 2024 Teos SE or 2024 Jetta Sport. Got to go back in time to get the good old days at $275 a month.
Great Scott, McNate. Plus, I hear the 2024 Atlas Peak editions are going for $5,000 off MSRP, or $1.9 for 60 months.
That's right, Randy. During the Volkswagen Savvy Summer Sales event, your future is whatever you make of it. So go to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown at 7420 Winchester Road or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
Ask for Marty to find out how much he can move you back on price. That's Gossett Volkswagen, 7420 Winchester Road. Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolosha.
All we hear is radio.
We welcome you back here at the Hub, right in the bend on 18 at TPC Southwind. Ben Griffin, the American, 5 under through 13 holes. He's on fire. He had a string of 4 straight birdies on 8, 9, 10, and 11. That's pretty impressive stuff. Tom Kim, 4 under. Tommy Fleetwood, 4 under through 8 holes. Cam Young, Chris Kirk, they're 3 under. Taylor Pendrith, Matthew Pavon, the Frenchman, they are 2 under. Justin Rose, Will Zalatoris, Shane Lowry now at 1 under par. More than half the field is out on the golf course. That leaderboard brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. Our title sponsor is Landers Ford. We'll get to a bunch of the other sponsors as we go on, but we got to head down to Baton Rouge. Our friend Ron Higgins is standing by right before he boards to go on a cruise. We have so many dedicated people. Here we got Pranica talking from a Pro-Am, and now we got Renancey's about to embark onto a cruise ship, man. Our man Ron Higgins. I want to take a walk down memory lane because with all those years that you worked for the Commercial Appeal, you also covered the FedEx St. Jude Classic. What's your favorite memory or two? Good morning, Ron.
Yeah, memories. Let's see. I'd say Bobby Hall chasing down John Daly in the parking lot on the way out after.
Oh God, yes.
Daly played around, but he had bruises all over his face, and he apparently got in a fight with his wife the night before, and Bobby Hall tracked him down the parking lot to get a quote from him. That was a great, John Daly gave Bobby a quote. You gave him a quote you really couldn't put in the paper.
Right. Well, something like get the you-know-what away from me?
Well, it was more than that. One day I'll tell you when we're not on the air. It was one of the funniest quotes I've ever heard, honestly. But, I remember Jordan Spieth played for the first time out there as an amateur. I remember I went and covered I was more of a sidebar guy, so I come up with like unique angles and stuff like that. That was my job. Bobby always handled the main stuff, and Jeff handled the column, and I was like more of a sidebar guy. I'd find interesting stuff like people who would, they would camp out at certain holes to watch the tournaments. Like they've been there every year in the same place forever. You get a lot of that. One year I went up in the blimp. I went up in the MetLife blimp one year.
Really? I don't remember that. That had to be cool.
That was very cool. I really enjoyed that. I always wanted to do that. It was like you were just floating, man. Like the guy was just, like you're floating on the cloud, and the guy would hit the a little bit, go up a little bit, then float some more. It was really cool. Yeah.
How long were you up there? Because that thing goes up for the whole day, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this was before the tournament started, so it was like on a Monday or Tuesday, and it was before they had the team members in it. So he took me up. Probably was up there for like almost an hour, just floating around. It was really, really cool. It was when it was offered to me. I said, "Well, yeah, I want to do that. Like I always want to do that at least once." That was fun. Yeah, but mostly I just remember I lost a lot of weight every year covering that tournament because it was so friggin' hot.
Well, it's supposed to be in the upper 90s today, with it feels like 106. So I could use it. Maybe I'll lose a little weight. Just an update here on the Sissy's Log Cabin leaderboard. Ben Griffin just double bogeyed 14. That's the par 3 water hole. Double bogeyed it. He's 3 under. So now Tom Kim and Tommy Fleetwood lead at 4 under par. All right, let's sort of swing toward football. And Georgia, nobody's surprised. Number 1 in the AP poll, just like they were in the coaches poll. 9 SEC teams in the top 20, dominated by the SEC in the Big Ten, which is what we're going to see forever here. Ohio State was number 2. Georgia number 1 in your mind, is that solid?
Yeah, I think they're solid. Yeah, I mean, have a lot of people back. Kirby's done a really good job for recruiting everything. He's doing the job of recruiting the Nick to at Alabama, and so he just kind of restocks people. But yeah, I think it's a good solid pick. Now, I have no problem with most of the, top, the order of the top 10 or whatever. I mean, like we talked earlier, I'll be interested to see how all those people, that expectation of they come in number 6, and everybody, all the Rebels think it's going to be a playoff thing. It's all just interesting to think that really hasn't had that kind of expectation forever, how they handle it. Some teams handle it better than others, honestly. I've seen LSU a lot of times be ranked in the top 5 to start a year, and they just don't handle it very well, and they just plummet. It happens. So I'm just kind of interested to see how Ole Miss holds up under that. I like Ole Miss, I mean, but I just want to see how they handle that heavy expectation.
Yeah, when is the last time that you could say they were top 6 in the country in the pre with those expectations? And because of the uniqueness of the expansion of the playoffs, honestly, and Memphis is in this same boat a little bit because so many have picked them to be the group of 5 rep, although there's plenty that have picked Boise ahead of them now. But if they don't make the playoffs, Ole Miss, especially with their schedule, that's a little like the USA men's basketball team getting the silver. I mean, that would be unacceptable, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough to take if all the Ole Miss things, really. But they should feel, I'm glad they have optimism. For a lot of years, Ole Miss, optimism, and it's good for them. Glad they have some optimism. It's nice to go into a season like it's going to be pretty good, but you never know how the season plays out. You never know about it. Player suspension, all this stuff comes up that you can't really predict. You just hope you have enough people to weather the storm or whatever.
I think it's a consensus. Kirby Smart is the best coach now that Nick Saban's gone. In the SEC, you can make the argument he's the best in the country. Obviously, they're number 1 again. Who would be the second best in your mind, the second best coach in the SEC?
I think I cover him. I think Brian Kelly's pretty good.
So you would go Brian Kelly. Where would you put Lane Kiffin?
I'd put Lane third or fourth. I mean, he's right in there. I think Kelly's got a proven track record. He did at Notre Dame.
Yep.
His first year at LSU when he won 10. He had to rebuild a roster that had 38 scholarship players with Orgeron left. And he's got a recruiting class for 2025 that's only, I think, third in the nation. He's got he hired a new defensive staff and called them great recruiters, great. And it reminds, without the national attention, it still reminds me of Nick Boyd. He's very comfortable with his own, without being angry or arrogant about it like Nick did a lot of times. I think he's pretty good. Yeah, but they got a lot of people in this league who coach. A lot of people.
So if it goes Smart, Kelly, Kiffin, who's 4?
I'm gonna say I think he needed to start or Heupel. I think Heupel's a pretty good coach.
Well, I would say I was going to say either Heupel or Stoops. I mean, I know Stoops doesn't have the kind of record, but he's in Kentucky, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there a long time. I mean, for what he has to work with, yeah, I put Stoops up there. Sarkisian still has to kind of prove himself still, so there's that.
Yeah.
It's funny when you start talking to all these coaches. In my head, I'm still going by division. I'm still okay. Who's in the West? Who's in the East? So
right.
It's a 16-team free for all.
It'll probably take a couple of years, but in the long run, I think we'll get used to it, and it's obviously going to be outstanding.
I think it'll be great.
There's no doubt.
You'll get really good teams. It might be a rematch or something during the year, but you will have the two best teams. That's what you want. But we've seen many years that they had East versus West, and one of the teams in the division would just get obliterated. And when
my friend,
yep.
Enjoy your cruise, and we'll be just about ready for football when we talk next Thursday.
Absolutely. All right, man.
You got it, my friend. Thank you much. We appreciate it. That's our guy. That's our SEC historian, and he was a historian for the FESJC as a sidebar guy for many, many years. You heard it. That is Ron Higgins down in Baton Rouge. He's brought to you in part by Miramichi. So we're out here at Southwind, and I look at those greens, and then I've played the Miramichi greens, and I'm telling you, you can't tell the difference. I look at practice facilities, I can't tell the difference. That's how good Miramichi is. And you can get on Miramichi. I promise you that. All you got to do is head out there, and it's not far from downtown. It's 12 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Miramichi is 22 minutes. That is it. And different times mean different tee greens prices. It's just the perfect golf experience at the most reasonable price, and you've got choice. All you got to do is go out there and check it out or give them a call. Miramichi in Woodstock. It is beautiful, and it's a challenge, as tough as you want to make it, with 5 different tee boxes. The ultimate public golf experience. We take a break. When we come back, we'll head downtown. Our friend Jarvis Greer is right around the corner.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
Lowe's knows our great paint savings mean you can get the colors you want at prices you'll love. Right now, get 20% off 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of Valspar Defense paint or cabinet stain. Shop now because it's the perfect time to maintain your deck and paint your outdoor spaces. Visit us in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/21. Selection varies by location. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service offers you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, mountains, or even in the backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea flavors. Responsibly.
Welcome back to the hub here at TPC Southwind, and lots of people coming in now. There is a bar, by the way, if you want to check that out. AutoZone, FedEx got stuff here. There's a new company called Capital Vacations. Southland Casino is here. It's pretty packed, pretty interesting, that's for sure. It's been a roller coaster for Ben Griffin. He doubled 14. The very difficult par 3 that has the most water balls of any. But then he bounces back with a birdie on 15, and now he's got the par 5 16. So he's at 4 under. Tommy Fleetwood is there at 4 under. Chris Kirk just had a birdie on 9, so he's 4 under. Tom Kim just bogeyed 12, so he's 3 under along with Cam Young. Justin Rose through 15 now is 2 under par. So is Taylor Pendrith, Matthew Pavon, Rory McIlroy 2 under through 4 holes. Colin Morikawa 2 under through 4 holes. So those two are playing together, putting on a show. Will Zalatoris, Siwoo Kim, Stefan Yeager, Shane Lowry, Seamus Power, Nick Dunlap, Todd, all at 1 under par. So they're really playing. Not much wind. They're going kind of crazy here at Southwind. That's the scoreboard brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. Title sponsor is Landers Ford. Don't forget, we're here because of First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Wade Inc., that's your North Mississippi John Deere dealer. Ronnie Grazzani's, that great Italian restaurant. Town Village in Audubon Park. Banyan Tree Realtors, Wilson's Power Wash, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and the good folks with Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council. J.J. Greer is a big part of that. I'm going to see him at lunch today, but I'm going to talk to his dad right now. Jarvis Greer joins us downtown. Jarvo, down went the press box. What was your first thought when you saw that thing go down?
Wow, that's like bittersweet, you know, because I went to a lot of games in there as a kid in the stadium, and I played in there as a collegian, and then covered a lot of games in there from the press box. We do the radio of the Tiger games up there on the top upper left side, about 20 stories up. I'm gonna still say that, Dave.
No. Now you're changing your story because I've already brought that up. You used to tell me scientifically you had it measured. It was 17 stories high. Now you're going to 20?
It's going to be embellished the longer it goes.
I hear it'll be 100 stories by the time we pass away.
I know, man, and it was just weird to see it come down. You know, to like when they were poking holes in either end. You know, beside the press box, and it's like this is just kind of surreal. And but then to see that come down all in one fell swoop was like, man, well, this is happening, and what's going to replace it? Now you can only look to the future because everything else up there basically is gone. So you look to the drawings and you know what the architects have said it's going to be, and that's just beautiful and full steam ahead. But man, that was all the dust and everything, all the memories going away. It's just like it's a little bittersweet, I have to say.
It's going to be weird to look at that in 2.5 weeks, literally.
Now. I wonder what people think when they fly over it, because it's on the glide path to the Center.
Right. Well, the other aspect is, those 25 rows, they're going to sell tickets for that, right? I mean, those seats are going to be filled. Those first 25 on that side.
Yeah, those are the chair back. I don't know that. I think they're moving everything over to the other side, to the east side. But
really,
if you sit over, because I think that's just like it's still a major construction zone on the west side of the stadium.
I think I got to make a phone call and find out about that, because I think that we need to know that, because those are such prime seats.
Yeah,
and they're saying the configuration will be 32,000 seats for this year. Do you need those rows to make it 32,000?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good call, Dr. Scott. All we can say is call Dr. Scott. Dr. Ed Scott's the new president. I'm sure he's briefed on everything, all things stadium construction. So, go to the horse's mouth and get the exact total. But I'm looking forward to football. How about you?
Oh, me too. I don't know that we've talked since Coach's poll had Memphis 30 and the number one group of 5. The AP had Memphis 34, and behind Boise in the group of 5. We're going to be looking at Boise scores all year long. Liberty scores all year long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed, or are you?
Go ahead.
Are you disappointed or enthused by the polls?
I am disappointed because of what we have coming back, and everybody knows what the Tigers have coming back. All the pundits know, and there are so many changes, other kind of changes at Boise State, head coach, quarterback. They still got that great running back, Janty, who he scored 4 touchdowns against the Tigers, but the Tigers won the game. What was it, 35-32, I think, something like that. I'm disappointed that they wouldn't just go ahead and put Memphis up there after all the talk. But I think the team would use it as fuel. So, there's that.
Well, you talk about all the people coming back. ESPN has this interesting – it's really not like a projection, but they take into account what you have coming back, who you replaced it with, what your schedule looks like, okay?
Right.
They literally had Memphis 43, so they had Boise and Liberty ahead of Memphis. Memphis was the top AAC team. Let me tell you who they had in front of all the other AAC teams besides Memphis was Troy, which tells you how important Troy is going to be.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be
second game of the year.
Game 2, and it's at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, what's left of it. It's a big game because they are a really good Sun Belt team. They've been good for a while. They get a lot of good players. They play hard. Yeah, so, it's all about picking up teams that look like they're going to be good. Remember Calipari had that formula. He would go find out who were the best teams in maybe some of the smaller leagues and play them.
Right.
So you rack up points and whatever, so you can get a higher seeding. And, you have to beat teams like that. You can't just, be on paper, they should win. No, you have to beat them, and you have to beat them, not just eke by. But if you eke by, a W is a W. You just need to win enough so you can get in, which means in Memphis' case, you pretty much got to win them all, so you get into the playoffs. Because that's kind of what it is now. I haven't paid enough attention to Boise's schedule to see if they're going to get those Pac-12 teams that, were left dangling to play, if that's going to really give them a boost or not. But
they do play that. They play Oregon, too. I mean, their schedule is tough. I don't – first of all, I think they're going to lose to Oregon right off the bat. It's like the Florida State game for Memphis.
I'm not going to say we're going to lose that one. I'm saying we're going to go down there and battle. That's what I'm going to say.
I would say this, Jarvis, if we're being objective,
okay,
we are the underdog in that game.
Yeah,
they are the 10th ranked team in the country.
Yeah, even on that list you were talking about, they are very, very good. And DJ Ungalele should thrive in a Mike Norvell offense. I'm just glad that Norvell's there so we can get some games, because I think they'll come here in the future.
I wouldn't go that far. I think he was kind enough knowing.
I don't think he's afraid to play anybody, and I think he really appreciated it. Because, the last thing I said to him when he left Memphis, we all knew that, hey, this dude's ticketed. Hopefully we can keep him as long as we can. We did. But I said, look, you're at FSU now. Just give us a game. Give us a game. I'll be happy. And so we got a game with him, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think that was kind of him. And look, he knows the circumstances Memphis is in. That September date is always for the Southern Heritage Classic, so they've got that road game they know. I don't believe he would take his team and play us here. I don't believe that. But I do appreciate the fact that he's given Memphis a chance, and I think it's $1.5 million payday.
Yeah, and you remember Memphis used to have a long-standing series with Florida State, going back to the Dale Mudra days, and then with Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden would play it. And
don't forget that they were in the same league for basketball with Memphis, the old Metro Conference.
And they kind of had a loose alliance of the teams, and if the Metro, if they could have made football a league sport, it would be a Power 5.
Well,
because you had Georgia Tech, Florida State, Cincinnati, all those teams
Virginia,
you think about now.
You had Florida State,
Virginia Tech,
Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cincinnati, Louisville, Memphis, Southern Miss was in that league. Marquette was in that league. That was a heck of a league.
Yep,
Tulane was in that league. Yeah,
it was a good league. It was a really good league, and if they could have gotten that together, that would have been a Power 5 league. But, things happen the way they happen. I thought you were going to ask me about the Olympics, Dave. We just got back.
Oh, my gosh. It was number one on my list. I can't believe it because you just came back from Paris. You saw the semifinal games, right, in basketball?
Yes, the men's basketball semifinals, USA versus Serbia. Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and all the Serbians. And then, of course, Steph Curry, LeBron James. That was the game. Steph had 36. And,
right.
It was really funny because, we planned this. My wife planned it. She's much way above my pay grade in knowing how to do this stuff. And we said, oh, wow, we can get men's basketball. Took the semi. So we definitely jumped on that, believing that the U.S. would be there. They were there. Serbia's there. And, the U.S. had beaten Serbia in pool play by like 50. I think it was 122-87 or something. And so they came out and they were down 18. In the third quarter, and it's like, how come we spent all this money? We don't come over here and lose. It was like, but they took over. Steph just was unconscious, and all the fans there in the BFC arena, there were French fans in there. Of course, there were Serbian fans and people from all over the world, and they were cheering for Serbia, but they were all cheering for LeBron and Steph because everybody knows LeBron. LeBron's worldwide. The NBA is global. And Steph, they all know about them, and they were seeing them in action in real life for the first time, up close and personal. Of course, we've seen them, coming through FedEx Forum here because of the Grizzlies. And, we've seen that. We've seen them do that kind of thing. The teams that are really, really good and know it, they may screw around for the first little bit, and then they turn it on. When they turned it on, Dave, there was no question the U.S. was going to win that game. LeBron went.
By the way, he was incredible. By the way, Lauren Roberts just passed by. Lauren Roberts, a man of the people, the boss
he is.
Of the Moss. You don't get a better guy, honestly. You would not know that this is one of the great golfers, right? When you go back in history of his era, and he's just such a nice fella.
And he's
hanging out. He's hanging out here in the hub. So tell me about that Paris experience. You saw track too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we saw track and field. We were there for the night that Quincy Hall, the American 400-meter hurdler, won, coming out of nowhere, and nipping the runner from Great Britain at the tape. The crowd, Stade de France, seats 80,000. And everybody was on their feet, and it was just roaring in there. And he pulls out the win, and then both he and the runner from Great Britain take their shoes off. They both retired after that race. It was just absolutely incredible. We were, if you want to do NASCAR terms, we were right at the apex of turn 3 and 4, 10 rows up. And so we had perfect view. And for us, it was right in front of the pole vault pit. So we saw the women's pole vault that Derek and Katie Moon got the silver medal. And it was just fantastic. But I will say this.
Gosh.
I'll tell you this. Remember how people used to complain about the seats in the pyramid upper deck?
Yeah.
That stadium is beautiful, and they built it to host World Cup. Because they have the French national team is really, really good, and the World Cup soccer, and it's beautiful.
Well, and then they got Paris Saint-Germain too.
Yeah, PSG. They play in a different stadium, and we went to the men's soccer finals too. That was played there. But there is no creature comforts in there at all. And you are knees to the back of the person's head in front of you. They jam them in there, but it doesn't matter because you're there to see the event. And, every seat, you can see everything, and it's like, wow. It's just, I can't tell you. We sat next to people from Johannesburg, South Africa, and they said it took them 17 hours to get to Paris. Because they're down on the bottom of the planet. They're down.
Right.
And it took us 9, counting the 1 hour from Memphis to Charlotte, and it was 8 hours from Charlotte to Paris. And I said, wow, we thought that was a long trip. No, all these people coming from China and other places around the world, but they're there. And Paris, oh my God, Dave, it is. I'm not an art critic, and I don't know much about architecture and all that. That wasn't my major. But it is just beautiful, and it is everything that anything's ever been said about it.
Yeah.
And
And I got to ask you the last thing. I've been there, Paris, City of Lights. Honestly, would love to go back because it was such a fabulous experience. But
we were there a week, and we still got a lot of stuff to see.
Well, last thing, you went to Normandy. I saw your pictures. I told you would be really moved. Tell me how you felt about Normandy.
Well, first of all, getting there, we took a bullet train. I mean, it's like going from Memphis to Nashville, basically. About 180 miles. Took 2 hours to get there on the train, and it was comfortable. And I think only about 4% of the people that live around there actually have their own car. Everything's public transportation. But when we got up to Normandy, you get out there and you see where Omaha Beach and Utah Beach, and it's just beautiful. Right. And to think that it was all this war and everything. And the bunker holes, the holes in the divots in the ground from where the bombs hit, they're still there. And then you go to the cemetery, and oh my goodness, 9,500 are buried in the American cemetery there, and it's like 9,300 died that day, D-Day, June 6, 1944, and then another 300 had died subsequent to their injuries were moved from wherever and requested to be buried there. And it is as reverent a scene as you could think. The cemetery is right on the top of the cliffs, overlooking where they all died.
Right.
It's the most, you think that a lot of these guys were 17, 18 years old,
I know.
And it's like,
very
wow.
moving. Just an incredible journey. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So glad you're back home safe. That is for sure, and that you enjoyed it as much as you did. And we'll be talking a lot of football next week as we get closer and closer. Jarvo, thank you much. We appreciate
it. Looking forward to it, Dave. Go Tigers. It's coming up, baby.
You got it.
Coming up.
I know it.
Stadium's
That's our man.
Down. Tigers coming up.
That's Jarvis Greer. By the way, Ben Griffin, another birdie on 16. He's back to 5 under. He had that double. He's recovered. He leads over Tommy Fleetwood and Chris Kirk. They are at 4 under. Justin Rose, a birdie on 16. He's 3 under, like Tom Kim, Cam Young, Taylor Pendrith 2 under, Matthew Pavon 2 under, Rory 2 under with Morikawa. They were 2 under through 4. They both have parred number 5. Brandon Todd 2 under, Will Zalatoris, Siwoo Kim, Stefan Yeager, Billy Horschel, Shane Lowry, Seamus Power, Nick Dunlap, all at 1 under. We are really on a roll here at Southwind. We'll do it again tomorrow. I promise. Don't go anywhere, though. Johnny Radio comes your way here at Southwind in just 1 minute. Have a great day, everybody.